Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Joynes, Mayor of Winston-Salem. It's my pleasure to call to order this meeting of the Winston-Salem City Council. And if I turn the mic on, you could hear me say that again. But I am Alan Joynes, Mayor of Winston-Salem. We're delighted to have you here at our meeting tonight. I'd ask the city clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilmember Joyner.
Present.
Councilmember Clark.
Here.
Councilmember Andrew Bowen.
Here.
Councilmember Scipio.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Here.
Councilmember Taylor.
Present.
Councilmember Hall.
Present.
And Councilmember Burke.
Here.
Thank you, everyone. Would you please join the city council and me in a moment of silence? Thank you so much. Would you join the city council and me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. I started in arms tonight as Lieutenant Peter Watkins. Lieutenant, thank you for being with us tonight. And our fire marshal tonight is Peter Geik. Thank you both for, there he is. Thank you both for keeping us safe. Let me turn the meeting over to our city manager, Pat Pate, for his update.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of different things tonight. One of the first things to do, I'm going to call Sue Spainhauer up to talk to you a little bit about an item on your consent agenda, which is the 2025 inductees for the Winston-Salem Arts, Culture, and Entertainment Memorial Walk of Fame. But then we just wanted to highlight those for you for a moment and for the public, that who's coming up on that.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and members of the City Council. I'm Sue Spainhauer, Marketing and Communications. I am here to present the 2025 Winston-Salem Arts, Culture, and Entertainment Memorial Walk of Fame nominations. The Walk of Fame Committee met earlier this year, reviewed the applications that had been sent in, and from that, they have selected these 4 nominees. They are William Grady Benton, Julian Carr Burroughs, James Thackeray Diggs Jr., Margaret Snodgrass Mueller. William Gray Benton was nominated in the category of Arts and Philanthropy. He was very active with the Arts Council of Winston-Salem, Forsyth County, with the Sawtooth School of Visual Design, Piedmont Craftsman, Winston-Salem Symphony, Carolina Symphony, Chamber Symphony, and received a Lifetime Achievement in Philanthropy Award. We have Julian Cars Burroughs in the category of Radio. He was WFDD faculty advisor and station manager for the radio voice of Wake Forest University. He secured the FM broadcast license for full service station for WFDD, which was very significant. He also acquired the first NPR charter membership in North Carolina in 1971 and served as Professor Emeritus of Speech Communication at Wake Forest. James Thackeray Diggs Jr. In the category of visual arts. Of course, he's renowned for his work on Cubism, Surrealism, and Expressionism. He was an art professor and chairman of the Winston-Salem State Art Department. He was a founding member of both the Associated Artists of Winston-Salem and North Carolina, co-established SICA, and of course, Diggs Gallery is named in his honor. Margaret Snodgrass Mueller, she was nominated in the category of music. She's a professor emeritus of organ and theory at Salem College. She established the Summer Organ Academy at Salem College. She was a teacher at the Salem Community Music School. She served as the organist at St. Paul's Episcopal Church for nearly 40 years. She was a key figure in the revival of the classical organ in the United States, and she performed around the world. She and her husband also helped lead the effort to restore the Flimtorp, no, I said that wrong, the Flimtorp organ at Salem College. These are your 4 nominees that you will consider for the 2025 Arts, Culture, and Entertainment Memorial Walk of Fame. Any questions?
Thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sue. I know those are fairly significant folks in the life of the community, and so I think council wanted to make sure they were recognized properly here, and will be again later on. And still in the vein of marketing communication, they have created a new monthly podcast for the city called First in Main, and has released a June episode. This month's show talks about the City of Winston-Salem University, so we encourage everyone to go to their favorite streaming services and search for First in Main Winston-Salem, and they can also see those on our YouTube channel. It's not quite so hot today, but given the heat that we're expecting to see, it's glad to announce that all city pools are now open. So all our lifeguard positions have been filled, so our residents can enjoy a day in the sun at any of their favorite pools. Before visiting a pool, we encourage residents to go online and check the rules and regulations and the hours of operation. And just for our council to know, the city is in the midst of an Arts Council campaign fundraiser. So as the City of Arts and Innovation, we all know that arts plays and the Arts Council plays an important role in advocating for the arts and cultural sector in Winston-Salem and Forsyth County. The city has a goal of raising $17,000 in employee donations to give to the United Arts Council this year. A couple of events upcoming we want to make sure everyone's aware of. This Friday, June 6th, from 9 to 2 at the Fairgrounds Event Center, they'll host the Winston-Salem Transit Authority Accessible Festival, which is an event that welcomes people of different abilities to enjoy food, games, and resources. So if you go to the winston-salemfairgrounds.com, you can get more information on that event. A second event, the Business Inclusion and Advancement Department will hold public meetings, both virtually and in person, on Tuesday, June 17th, to discuss the recent expansion of the neighborhood revitalization strategy area. Properties that previously did not meet the location requirements may now be eligible for assistance, so we encourage folks, if you were interested in that program, to look online and see where that's at. A couple of recognitions. The fire department has been engaged in a month-long process with students from 5 southeastern HBCUs, including Winston-Salem State University, to develop an intelligent planning tool to help fire departments and city planners work together to a centralized Esri-compatible dashboard. Esri is the like our mapping system. The solution uses A1-driven analytics and GIS-based spatial data to visualize infrastructure, identify risks, optimize resources, and ensure fire safety in the urban planning process. This project won second place in the HBCU Smart Cities Challenge. I know several of you have been involved in that, and that's a great program. Another, May is also designated as our National Historic Preservation Month. In honor of this month, the Forsyth County Historic Resource Commission, which is a function of our Planning and Development Services Department, has teamed up with the Chronicle and Winston-Salem writers to sponsor a middle school essay contest. The contest was open to all Winston-Salem Forsyth County schools, middle school students, and 3 students were recognized and awarded cash prizes for their entries in the essay contest. First place went to Riley Strain, second place Boren Douglas, and third place Celeste Ward. And these students were from Summit School. And then I just recently sent a note out to you, each of you that one of the council members asked me to say a little bit about in terms of the sustainability in the proposed budget. We know this generating some interest in that area, and we want to make sure that you and as well as the community knows that sustainability does remain a focus of the city budget and I think of city council. Last year we had a capital plan for a $500,000 investment that's planned for 2026 for capital improvement needs. To date, we've only spent about a little over 75,000 of that, so the balance of that remains unspent and will be available for projects in this upcoming year. We are currently in the process of selecting a vendor for a solar feasibility study to identify the most optimal city facilities for solar installations and to come up with the estimated cost, payback, timelines, et cetera, for those projects, with the plan to put those projects in place along with our building facility study that will also be ongoing in next year's budget. The city budget does include a net increase of $80,000, which is $240,000 in installation expenses and $160,000 in energy cost reductions annualized for funding of the transition to the current streetlights to LED systems and lights. Our budget also includes all light vehicles to be purchased, the ability to be purchased as hybrids, with a review to determine if EVs will be feasible or available for purchase as we go through that process. And then, as I mentioned, the facility needs study is in the budget and is expected to generate information to prioritize the renovation and replacement of city buildings. The city has a commitment to ensuring all major facility renovations and replacements are reviewed for sustainability opportunities to reduce the building's overall and the city's overall carbon footprint. So those will all be coming down in the next year as a part of what's in this current budget. So we just wanted to make sure that you were aware of those as well as the community. And with that, I'll stand ready to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Pate? Great, thank you, Mr. Pate. We do have an honorarium tonight, so if the clerk would read that, please.
Item H1, proclamation honoring the United States Army 250th birthday. On June 14, 1775, the Second Continental Congress, representing the citizens of 13 American colonies, authorized the establishment of the Continental Army. And whereas the collective expression of the pursuit of personal freedom that caused the authorization and organization of the United States Army led to the adoption of the Declaration of Independence and the codification of the new nation's basic principles and values in the Constitution. And whereas for the past 250 years, the U.S. Army's central mission has been to fight and win the nation's wars, with the motto, "This will defend," being the creed by which the American soldier lives and serves. And whereas no matter the cause, location, or magnitude of future conflicts, the nation can rely on the U.S. Army to produce well-trained, well-led, and highly motivated soldiers to carry out the missions entrusted to them. And whereas the components of the U.S. Army, to include the Army National Guard, the U.S. Army Reserves, and the regular Army, have contributed immensely to health and natural disaster response. And whereas citizens of the City of Winston-Salem have proudly served and made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation's freedom while serving in the United States Army and other branches of our nation's military. Now, therefore, I, J. Allen Joines, Mayor of the City of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, do hereby proclaim Saturday, June 14th, 2025, as United States Army 250th birthday, and express appreciation to the United States Army and to the dedicated soldiers who have served in it over the 250 years it has been in existence.
Thank you. We're honored to have with us tonight Marbury Bud Martin, who is the civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army, North Carolina Central. So, Bud, would you come forward? Delighted to have you with us tonight as we celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Army. And the next year, we'll celebrate the 250th anniversary of the country. So you're ahead of the country by a year. But thank you for what the Army obviously means to us and the freedom that we enjoy here. So we'll present this to you. And if you'd like to say a word, feel free to. Yes, sir.
Okay. You think we could get a picture? Everybody wants the mayor's picture. Well, I want to thank Mayor Jones and the City Council here of Winston-Salem for the proclamation. So I'm here on behalf of the Secretary of the Army, and for those that may not know, our new Secretary of the Army happens to be a North Carolinian. His name is Dan Driscoll, and he went to Watauga High School and grew up in Banner Elk, North Carolina. So on behalf of him, I certainly want to thank you all. Winston-Salem's always been a very patriotic city, and a lot of people do not know that. When we talked about earlier in the proclamation about those Winston-Salem individuals who have served our great nation, I will tell you that 35% of those that join our Army come out of the southeastern part of the United States, and a lot of them come right here from Winston-Salem. So as a civilian aide, I support the recruiting that goes on here. There's a recruiting company, as well as help assist all of our soldiers that might be transitioning out of Fort Bragg looking for jobs. And I'm always out there encouraging the businesses of Winston-Salem and the whole central area to hire veterans. So, and then finally, I wanted to say, for those that are veterans, I want to thank you for your service and invite you on June 11th at Richard Childress Racing. We will be having a birthday Army celebration. We will be swearing in new recruits from the area. We will have the 208th Army Reserve Band to play. We'll have decorated cake, and I think the name is kind of being held back right now, but I understand a cabinet member of the President of the United States will also be there in attendance. And we're going to honor women veterans at the same time. So once again, Mayor, thank you. Thank the city, the council, and God bless you and God bless America.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer. So the meeting tonight is being televised live, and it will be on the city's YouTube page as well as TV 13, and it will be replayed tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. and again on Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Of course, as you know, copies of our agenda as well as videos of previous meetings are always available online on the city's website, and you just click on the Watch Meetings Online option. Of course, our agenda is comprised of two parts, the general agenda and the consent agenda. It's always the practice of this council to take the consent agenda as the first order of business. Items on this agenda have been unanimously recommended by a committee of the city or are being submitted in accordance with established procedure. There'll be no discussion of the items on this agenda unless a council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the agenda and considered individually. Items not removed from the consent agenda will be enacted with one motion. And council members, let me just say up front that our electronic voting is not working tonight, so we're going to do voicemail like voice vote like we used to. We went voicemail too, but we'll voice vote like we have before. So, are there any items you'd like to remove from the consent agenda? If not, I entertain a motion.
I move for approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Adams, seconded by Councilmember Joyner, I believe. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And it looks like the system anticipated this was going to be unanimous.
It's only 8 of us, but 9 voted.
That's good. We'll now go to the general agenda, which includes an ordinance amending the city code. There are 3 public hearings, including confirming assessment rolls for demolitions. There's an installment purchase contract and the 2025-26 City of Winston-Salem budget public hearing. When the public hearings are called, persons in the council chamber will be given an opportunity to speak. If there is any opposition to the any zoning cases, which we don't have tonight, the proponents and opponents will be given 15 minutes for presentation and 3 minutes for rebuttal. If no one wishes to speak, I'll close the public hearing and the city council will consider the item. During the public hearing for the 25-26 City of Winston-Salem budget, those that have signed up will be able to speak for 2 minutes. That's 2 minutes. Because we've got so many people signed up, we want to make sure we get through the list as best as possible. And we'd also ask that if you have a whole group with your organization that we do, that perhaps you could have a designated speaker, or you won't cover the same, comments by everybody, so we can get through, so that everyone can have a chance to be heard. May we go to item G1, please?
Item G1, ordinance amending Article 2 of Chapter 2 of the Winston-Salem Code of Ordinances entitled City Council.
Thank you. This is something we've talked about quite a bit, and I would entertain a motion.
Move for approval of agenda item G1.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Clark. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, no. And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. Item G2.
Item G2, public hearing and consideration of resolution confirming assessment role for demolition of unsafe, non-residential building or structure for occupancy.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the council chamber who would like to be heard during this public hearing as we're confirming the assessment role for demolitions? Seeing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed, and this did come out of Public Works, I believe, so I'd recognize Councilmember Burke.
Thank you, Mayor. I move for approval of agenda item G2.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Scott Andre Bowen. Get this in about 4 years. Any further discussion? Not all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, no. And that is unanimous. Thank you, Councilmember Burke. Item G3.
Item G3, public hearing and consideration of an amendment to an installment purchase contract with the North Carolina Municipal Leasing Corporation to finance certain facilities and capital assessment assets and related matters.
This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the council chamber who wishes to be heard on this proposal to approve an installment purchase contract with North Carolina Municipal Leasing Corporation? Seeing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed and recognize the Chairman of the Finance Committee, Councilmember Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move for approval of agenda item G3.
Second.
Seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Adams. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, no. And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. Now, item G4.
Item G4, public hearing on proposed City of Winston-Salem budget for fiscal year 2025-2026.
Thank you. I'm going to turn the meeting over to Mr. Scott Tash, who's going to give us a brief summary of the budget.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council. I will try and make this brief. As we always do with the public hearing, I will provide about a 3-minute summary. Would encourage anyone who is here tonight, who is watching on TV 13, YouTube, or is watching in the future to go back and watch the prior budget workshops. There are several hours worth of discussion and information there, but I'm going to try and do the same thing here in about 3 minutes in terms of summarizing. At a very high level, the FY26 budget has a couple of priorities. The first is continuing to become an employer of choice in terms of looking at total compensation package, as well as the things that make us an employer of choice in the Triad and the region. We are looking specifically this year at maintaining service levels across the organization. So this budget does not include service level reductions, nor does it include many increases in nature. You do see in parentheses there, particularly as it relates to transit. We will talk about that in just a second, but part of the property tax increase is related to ensuring that the transit services continue at the level they are currently at in the proposed budget. Strengthening financial position, we have talked about this as part of the good government strategic focus area that will be in the new strategic plan. There are 2 different instances here where we are discontinuing the use of debt financing for things, moving to cash financing, which will save taxpayers money in the long term. And then also as part of the capital plan, looking at many of the projects that you have provided appropriations for in prior years, trying to get as many of those projects done as we can. Did want to remind everyone that this is a revaluation year. This happens once every 4 years in Forsyth County. The heat map on the left was provided by the county tax director, Mr. John Burgess, for reference. The more intense the red, orange, or yellow color, the more centralized growth in terms of real property value. One of the things that we have noted several times, the table to the right there, is that residential properties have grown at a much higher rate than commercial and industrial properties over the last 4 years. In terms of the tax rate, so the actual rate in the proposed budget is down 15 cents from the current year, from 72.5 to 57.5. As you can see, that is 4.8 cents above revenue neutral. 1.3 cents of that for general operations, compensation, benefits, inflation. 1.3 cents as part of moving away from using 2/3 bonds for capital maintenance, using cash while maintaining that capacity to replace and renovate the buildings in the future. And as we discussed, about 2.2 cents of that for the transit system. This is something that we've talked about for several years. That is not just a budget-to-budget change of nearly $8 million, but we have been relying on intergovernmental revenues, specifically from the federal government and our reserves, and we are running out of both of those at the end of this fiscal year. So there is a need to maintain solvency in the transit fund. A few other things just as notes: water and sewer increases on average of about 5% as approved by the Winston-Salem County Utilities Commission, which amounts to just under $3 a month for the average user. Solid waste disposal tipping fees at several of our solid waste disposal facilities, a 4% rate increase for stormwater effective in January. And as we've discussed a couple of times, there are various recreation and parks fees that had not been updated in some time related to facility rentals, swimming, golf courses, and things of that nature. Last slide here. As we look at how we compare in terms of major taxes and fees to the other 4 largest cities in North Carolina, we continue to be the lowest. This has been updated and reflects the proposed tax and fee increases for the other 4 cities, as you can see, at just over $2,100, and it runs all the way up to nearly $700 higher than us in Durham at more than $2,800 a year. After this evening, there is a committee of the whole next Monday, at which we expect there to be a recommended budget to the full council, and then 2 weeks from this evening, we would expect the adoption of the fiscal year 26 budget.
Thank you, Mr. Tesh. Any questions for Mr. Tesh? Thank you so much. At this point, I'll turn the meeting over to Chairman of the Finance Committee, Mr. Clark, who is going to MC the public hearing.
Thank you, sir. As the mayor said, we have a number of folks that would like to speak tonight. If you'll please keep your comments to 2 minutes, and there should be a timer, I believe, up there. And my ability to pronounce your name correctly is directly dependent upon your ability to write clearly. So with that, I'm going to start at the top. We'll work our way through. If you'll please give your name and address for the record when you get up there, so we'll know who you are as we film you. We'll start with Mr. Terry Taylor.
Thank you. My name is Terry Taylor. I'm the president and CEO of Old Salem Museums and Gardens. Our address is 600 South Main Street in Winston-Salem. Greetings to Mayor Joines, Chairman Clark, and Mayor Pro Tem Adams, and other distinguished members of the council tonight. I am here representing 31 members of the Old Salem Board of Trustees Board, our 111 employees, and the nearly 40,000 visitors who paid to see Old Salem's buildings last year. And that doesn't count the countless other thousands of people that walked through the historic district, enjoyed the beauty of what is Old Salem and the birthplace of Winston-Salem. As we mentioned earlier tonight, we're getting ready to celebrate our nation's 250th anniversary, and Old Salem has a lot to be proud of. If you're not aware of this, we are the site of the first recorded celebration of the 4th of July in the United States. And we have a medallion in the middle of Salem Square that points that out, and it was July the 4th, 1793, so quite a few years ago. And as preparing my remarks tonight, I stumbled across something else. Many of us have probably heard that George Washington spent 2 nights in Old Salem many, many years ago. Well, tonight is one of those anniversary nights. It was actually 234 years ago tonight that he spent his 2nd night in the Salem Tavern. He came here for many reasons, but perhaps the most important was to see the water system in Old Salem, because it was the site of one of the first public water systems in the United States where they actually had running water. So a lot of history is happening tonight. But as Old Salem celebrates its 75th anniversary this year, and also our Museum of Early Southern Decorative Arts celebrates its anniversary, I'm here to say thank you for supporting us, for everything that you do to keep the district alive and beautiful for our citizens, and also for all those who come see it from across the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Good to see a Virginian coming to North Carolina to learn about running water. Anyway, next, Matthew Mayers. Is it Myers? It's Mayers.
It rhymes with Mr. Jones's title.
Okay, continue.
I'm Matthew Mayers. I live at 2844 Wesleyan Lane. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. And I want to also thank Mr. Tesh for a lot of hard work on the budget's hard. It's a hard time of year. And also Mr. Pate for clarifying some things about the sustainability efforts in the city during his report. It's really great to see the city showing some commitment to those areas. And at the same time, I think you've heard me say before that we're falling pretty far short of our goals that were set out 4.5 years ago in a sustainability resolution. And that's chiefly because the money hasn't been flowing. We need to make investments. I'm not going to say expenditures because everything that, well, almost everything that you would see in the Sustainability Director's energy plan is an investment that will save money for the city. That's responsible budgeting. You spend money to save money, right? That's how it works. So I want you to imagine every person in Winston-Salem once a day putting a penny in a jar for the whole year. At the end of the year, you have about $920,000. I like the idea of $1 million, nice round number for spending on sustainability projects every year. So that means from Thanksgiving to New Year's, we'd have to put in 2 pennies, not 1. I just want to say that as a way of pointing out the relatively modest ask that we're talking about. An increase, to be sure, but sustainability projects are money savers. So imagine again, what are all the things you could do with that? The EVs and the EV charging, the solar panels, the replacements for lighting efficiency, et cetera. But in fact, you don't have to imagine because your director of sustainability has already given you a pathway. One last thing, if you have a little extra change left, please fund the Solarize the Triad program to put solar panels on the rooftops of low and moderate income folks in the city. Thanks. Have a good night.
Thank you, sir. Richard Sebastian.
Team up, like the mayor asked. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. I'm Jamie Meyer. I'm the Executive Director of Piedmont Environmental Alliance, and I'm joined by one of our staff members, Richard Sebastian. Wanted to start by saying thank you for the hard work of putting together this comprehensive budget and for including important funding for our really amazing sustainability department led by Dr. Miller. That's really important, and it was also great to hear Mr. Pate's comments about ways that sustainability will be integrated into some of the projects that we have planned for the year. And the city itself has set the goals in the 2020 resolution to reduce carbon and to build in resilience. And we know that to do that, we need capital budget. We need earmarked budget for investments. And I think Mr. Mayor said it well, right? This is investing the city's money to make sure that we can reach the goals and see the future city that's going to serve all of us.
Good evening, City Council, Mayor Pro Tem. I want to add also that, investing in sustainability is also very forward-looking in terms of green jobs. We know green jobs are the future. We know that there's already companies making investments in our area, Rivian, Toyota, and that we can show these companies and other companies and be more attractive by saying, we take this seriously, we invest in sustainability, and this is a good place for you to come here and to start, your business or continue your business, train our workers, and also helps us, we got a report around economic mobility. We're one of the lowest regions of the nation on economic mobility, and that's another way of addressing that by investing in green jobs and the green economy. Thank you.
We've got the goals.
We've got the goals, we've got the plan from our city director. We just need funding to make sure we're there. Thanks.
Thank y'all both. Catherine Stubner.
Hi there. My name is Catherine Stubner, and I work at Wake Forest University, and I'm not attached to the folks that just spoke, but I'd like to talk about something similar, which is sustainability. I lead a pretty big department on campus, and I'm very aware of how difficult it is to bring a lot of different interests to a compromise. I know how hard it is to create a budget. And there are a lot of good things about this budget. I'm really glad about the money that it has for sustainability, and that it's continuing to finish currently funded projects. But just as an ordinary citizen, I wanted to make a plug for the capital funding to be added to this budget for electric vehicles. And I come at this from just a personal perspective. We just bought an electric vehicle, and I was a skeptic, and I really see benefits to it that are, you know, on the personal level, but also on the city level. Electric vehicles have fewer moving parts to break. So it costs less over the term of the ownership of the vehicle. You don't have to change the oil. You don't need to get new brake fluid. You don't have to get transmission fluid. It doesn't need any of those things. There's just less to break down. And you also don't have to buy gas, and electricity is cheaper. So over the total length of ownership of the vehicle, it's just cheaper. So it makes sense for the city to invest in these vehicles because long-term, it just saves money. Also, they don't stink, which makes the city a nicer place to live. And that's just a nice thing for people who live here. So I would just urge you to include some capital funding for electrical vehicles in this budget, which I don't think is in there right now. It'd be great if it were. Thanks.
David Vukovic. Close enough?
Hi, I am David Vukovic. I live at 856 Knollwood Street. This council claims to care about the housing crisis and the number of homeless people in our city. Our strategic plan for 2025 and 2028 says that addressing housing affordability and homelessness is a top priority in the economic prosperity section. However, this budget does not align with those claims. This budget has a decrease of more than $4 million in neighborhood services when compared to the spending in the 23-24 fiscal year, even when you do account for the new money being spent on the new housing development department. This budget cuts more than $250,000 in community agency funding, including decreasing in the funding for rapid rehousing programs and centers for the homeless. Meanwhile, this budget allocates over $6.1 million just for police department purchases of cars, trucks, SUVs, and 90 in-car laptops. That's 103 vehicles. We are told time and again there is no funding for expanded right to counsel and other programs that help protect tenants from frivolous evictions to help keep residents in their homes. This budget says otherwise. There is funding, but the City Council is choosing to allocate it elsewhere. Right to counsel could be funded with about 1/6 of the money being spent on new vehicles for the police department, not to mention all of the other affordable housing initiatives and public housing improvements that could be supported with that $6.1 million. 3 rental companies in the city had over 600 eviction hearings just in the first 3 months of 2025. It is clear renters need protection. The city has the ability to provide that protection, and right to counsel programs across the country have been shown to keep more than 80% of tenants facing eviction in their current housing. Why is it that when we talk about programs of social uplift, like affordable housing, right to counsel, and public education, we get hit with where's the money going to come from, but we never get those questions for the police department and other programs that never get asked those same questions? Do you really believe in addressing the affordable housing crisis and homelessness, or is that just something you say? Thank you.
Carter Berry.
Good evening. Thank you all for allowing me to speak and being here tonight. My name is Carter Berry. I live at 431 Archer Road. Like several before me, I'm here to talk a little bit about sustainability with the specific ask of allocating more funds to the capital budget for sustainability and prioritize that money for action towards the strategic energy plan that's been put before you. One thing I want to add that others have not mentioned tonight is reframing what we mean a little bit when we mean sustainability. Sustainability is not some abstract idea. It's about people, right? It's about livelihoods of people. People are healthier, happier, less people die, and the economy grows as a function of the actions that are being described in the strategic energy plan. These people I'm describing aren't on some far-off island as well. They're in this room tonight. They're in our neighborhoods. They're our friends. They're our family. Of course, I understand as well that projects have to be paid for, budgets have to be allocated to different categories, but as several have said, these are projects that save money. They will save the city money. Solar panels, electric vehicles, renewable infrastructure, efficient lighting, all of these things have clear returns on benefits, and they're safe investments. They're safe investments that benefit people. The last reason I'm going to bring up that others have also mentioned as well of why we should do this is that you all said you wanted to. More than half the people, or about half the people sitting here tonight, voted on the resolution in 2020 setting a 50% clean renewable target. And I will reinforce, I'm a data scientist, that we are far, far, far from meeting the goals described in that budget. Accountability for that promise to us, the citizens, is on the table with this budget, because if action doesn't happen now in this next fiscal year, then we will almost definitely not achieve that goal that you all set for the city. So in closing, I just want to remind you that I want you to support expanding the capital budget for the Sustainability Office, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Gina Puckett.
Good evening. I'm Gina Puckett, the Program Director at Child Care Resource Center. Our current office is located at 102 West 3rd Street. It's a new office for us, so I haven't quite got that down. It's in the Liberty Plaza building. Mayor Pro Tem, and City Council members, I'd like to thank you for your continued support during the current fiscal year of Child Care Resource Center, and appreciate your consideration for our request for the upcoming year. For the past 33 years, our organization has been dedicated to helping child care work better for families, for child care providers, for our local businesses. Child care is an essential piece of making our community work. I wanted to share a little success story. We had a young mom, a new mother, call in March and want to start the process of looking for child care. She called back about a week and a half later, said she had had her twins early. They came home from the hospital after about a week, and she needed childcare to start July 1. So infant and toddler care in our community is at a premium, but our parent navigator that was working with her was able to talk with her fluently in Spanish. She was Spanish speaking, and our bilingual parent navigator was able to help explain childcare licensing and the star-rated system and talk with her about the potential for childcare subsidies and childcare assistance. Through all of that, the mother asked lots of questions. She was able, with our database, which you guys help support, to be able to get real-time openings for those children, and they will be starting their new program July 1. So thank you so much. And we have a lot of other parents similar to her that these dollars that you provide for Child Care Resource Center help us do. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Margaret Collins.
Good evening, Mayor Joines, Mayor Pro Tem Adams, Chairman Clark, and everyone on the City Council. I'm Margaret Collins. I'm the founding executive director of the Center for Creative Economy. We are based at 500 West 5th Street here in downtown Winston-Salem. Thank you for your previous support of our organization. We have worked closely with the city's Economic Development Department to provide services that support current and future entrepreneurs and small businesses in the City of Winston-Salem and Forsyth County. And we ask for your support to continue this work in the grant that we have applied for. It will allow our organization to host the 10th annual Velocity Creative Business Accelerator from August to October. And we are grateful that our grant was recommended for funding in the city manager's budget, and I urge you to approve this funding to support this work in our community. Our programs provide inception stage business training and expand the capacity for these entrepreneurs to grow viable businesses. And we deliver robust curriculum, customized mentoring to fulfill their missions to launch, grow, and accelerate. CCE drives economic development, market traction, and growth for all of our participants. And we are now working with 8 other ecosystem leaders here in Winston-Salem to make Winston-Salem as the place where people want to come and start a business. To achieve this, we have actually developed workshops that go beyond the programs that we're working on now to attract new capital, and we're calling it Capital Coach. So we're not only just working on our own programs, but we're working with other ecosystem leaders to help the entrepreneurs in our community. And our impact is large. We've helped 143 companies, 78% are still existing, $30 million in revenue has been earned. With this funding, we will support the vital support services needed by the entrepreneurial community. Thank you. With your support, we can continue to offer these vital programs. We appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Collins. Casey Rayner.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and members of the City Council. My name is Casey Raymer. I'm with Caladium. Our address is 120 West 3rd Street, Winston-Salem, and I'm speaking this evening on behalf of our CEO, Elizabeth Dampier. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you tonight and for your continued investment in Caladium. Caladium is more than a museum. We are a part of the city's civic identity, a downtown landmark where children lead with curiosity and learning takes on new life through hands-on discovery. Because of your past support, this vision isn't limited to just a few. It's something we are able to extend to our entire community. Since opening the doors to our reimagined museum in February 2024, we've welcomed over 250,000 visitors. 60% of them live right here in Winston-Salem. Caladium is a resource your constituents actively use and deeply value. Just as importantly, they're accessing it in ways that reflect our shared commitment to equity. Through Museums for All, nearly 38,000 individuals have received discounted admission, contributing a community value of nearly $400,000 since our opening. In light of the 250th birthday of the Army, I would be remiss if I didn't also mention that we've also welcomed over 2,000 active duty military members at no cost through the Blue Star Museum program, adding another $30,000 in community value. These access efforts ensure Caladium is not only a vibrant learning environment, but also a welcoming and inclusive one. Caladium brings families into the heart of downtown, supports local jobs, and drives foot traffic to nearby restaurants and businesses. We're proud to be a part of the energy that keeps Winston-Salem growing and thriving. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Sam Matthews.
Mayor Joins, Mayor Pro Tem, and City Council members. I'm Sam Matthews, Executive Director of the Shepherd Center of Greater Winston-Salem, 1700 Everett Street, Winston-Salem 27103. On behalf of those that we serve, I want to thank you for your steadfast support of the Shepherd Center for the last 10 years. Your support continues to pay significant dividends in the lives of thousands of older adults in our community. As the only state-certified senior center of excellence in Winston-Salem, we're in our 40th year of service, and we served over 8,300 older adults in 2024. Our most recent quarterly report to the city showed a return of investment of $24 for every dollar invested in the programs that we offer with city support. We're currently estimating that we're saving older adults that we serve over $500,000 annually, because of the volunteer support and the in-kind support that we receive. Currently, over 60% of those we serve are below 200% of the federal poverty level. In Forsyth County, and a lot of people do not realize this, the individuals over the age of 60 outnumber children and youth 17 and under. And with that growth comes increased requests for services. One of the significant services that we offer is essential medical transportation. We're assisting aging older adults who cannot navigate the public transportation system or TransAid, with many of them in wheelchairs or with cognitive issues. Also, there are very few resources for affordable minor home repair services in the homes of older adults in our community. These are services that the city funding allows us to accomplish. I'm very pleased to see that the city is committed to assisting nonprofits in the community who are also facing funding uncertainty at this time. City staff recommended $15,000 in funding for the coming fiscal year, for which we're very much appreciative, and we thank you very much for considering our funding request.
Thank you, Ms. Matthews. Deborah Dembski.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. I'm Deborah Dembski, 1722 Princeton Street, Winston-Salem, 27103. And I appreciate your time tonight to talk a little bit about the sustainability budget, particularly the capital project. I agree with the other speakers who have addressed this topic in saying that we really need to focus and put our money where our mouths have been and fully fund our sustainability programs. We can't fail our future residents, including the little kids that are going to be growing up here. We need to keep our city clean and to plan for a clean and sustainable future. I'll cede the rest of my time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Jasmine Rebian Robinson.
Hello, Mayor and the City Council. It's an honor to be before you guys today. My name is Jasmine Robinson. I'm with the co-founder of Turning Point Community Collaborative. Our vision is an eco-friendly housing, creating sustainability community for our at-risk youth, supporting growth, providing resources and holistic development. We want to provide a statewide impact, expanding our models across North Carolina. And why we choose Winston-Salem, Winston-Salem stands as the intersection of opportunities and transformation. Economic development, TPCC, aligns with the city, $31.5 million investment priorities, environmental health, supporting sustainability initiative across the city, recreations and culture, enhancing community resources and activity, replicable model, creating a blueprint for transformation. We desire to address the unmet need of this population with the homeless, the at-risk homeless youth. And we noticed that it increased at 19% last year. We also noticed that for our foster youth, or the people that's aging out of foster care or group homes, they end up being homeless within the 4 years. And we want to be a part of that supporting gap. Turning Point offers a bold and comprehensive solution, creating 15 tiny homes with eco-friendly design that supports sustainable housing, mental health, wellness support, and environmental stewardship, training, and more. Our total development cost, I do have it located here. I don't know if I can actually leave my materials here for you guys to review, but I would love to actually do that. Every dollar that we would like to invest is building our foundation for lasting impact, reducing long-term costs while maximizing social return. We desire community centers and creative spaces to provide healing arts to our consumers by partnering and collaborating with our community. We also want to be able to generate back into our societies for the citizens to stand up and contribute to our community as an asset. I would like to look forward to being able to leave my information with you guys, because we're called to action to do invest in use, build sustainability, and create lasting change. I do thank you guys for listening. Your leadership and your time is very much appreciated. Thank you.
You may leave anything you wish with the city clerk, who's to your left.
To my left.
Thank you very much. Deborah McClooney.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and City Council.
My name is Deborah McClooney. I am honored to offer remarks this evening on behalf of Dr. Antonio Monk-Richburg, President and CEO of the United Way of Forsyth County, which is at 301 North Main Street, the 17th floor, 27101. For over a century, United Way of Forsyth County has stood in steadfast partnership with this city and its residents. Our mission is to bring the community and its resources together to solve problems that no one organization can address alone. That mission comes to life every day as we work to ensure every person in Forsyth County has the opportunity to achieve their full potential through stable housing, access to education, financial security, and better health. We are grateful for the city's continued partnership in that work. And while we recognize the difficult budget decisions before you, we must express serious concern about the proposed 45% reduction in funding for United Way's Rapid Housing Collaborative, which is a vital initiative that directly addresses homelessness and housing instability in our city. The Forsyth Rapid Rehousing Collaborative is a leading example of what our mission looks like in action. It brings together United Way and its community of partners to move individuals and families out of homelessness and into permanent, stable housing quickly and with the support they need to stay housed. This model is not experimental, it works. Over 90% of those served through rapid rehousing do not return to homelessness within 2 years. That's not only efficient, it's transformative. It gives children stability, working parents a path forward, and our neighbors the dignity of a safe and secure home. The proposed 45% decrease in city funding from $87,620 to $48,070 places that progress at risk. Fewer dollars mean fewer people housed. It means turning away families at the edge of crisis. It means more people in shelters, on the street, and in unsafe conditions. And it means reversing hard-won progress in making homelessness rare, brief, and non-recurring in our city. Housing instability touches every part of a person's life. It worsens health, disrupts education, drives up emergency costs, and deepens poverty. Stable housing, on the other hand, strengthens families, supports learning, improves employment, and eases the burden on public systems. It is one of the most effective and compassionate investments a community can make. We understand that this is a difficult budget year, but a budget is not just a financial document. It is a reflection of our values. It shows what we stand for and who we are willing to stand with. In Forsyth County, we have long agreed that every person deserves a safe place to live and a fair chance to thrive. On behalf of Dr. Richburg and the entire team at United Way of Forsyth County, and the community impacted by this decision, I respectfully urge you to revisit proposed reduction and restore full support for the Rapid Rehousing Collaborative. Thank you for your time, your service, and your continued commitment to the well-being of all who call Winston-Salem home.
Thank you, ma'am. Paul Trafers, or Paula maybe?
Good evening. My name's Paula Traffus, and I'm here to speak about housing. I think most of you are aware that Forsyth County has something like is the 14th highest eviction rate in the entire country. And so what we have here is an eviction machine that churns through tenants and spits them out. So for example, PAR Investments filed over 250 evictions in the first 3 months of this year. Ginkgo filed over 200 evictions before April of this year. Now you can't tell me that all those people are lousy tenants and violating their leases. What we have are hedge funds coming in and buying apartment complexes, refusing to renew leases, and then filing evictions. And so you have between, 11 to 12,000 evictions a year in Forsyth County, just shocking. So what we're asking, I'm volunteer with Housing Justice, funding for legal assistance for tenants in evictions. landlords have they have lawyers, or they have highly trained professional property managers. Tenants have neither of those, and they go in and they lose no matter what the justice or value of their claims are. So we're asking, the city has a limited right to counsel program. We're asking for an expansion of that and also publicizing that so that people know it's there and can use it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Kalia Carter Edwards.
Good evening. My name is Kayla Cater Edwards, and as a native to Winston-Salem, born and raised, I've seen the positive shift towards a sustainable city, and I want to thank you all for implementing plans towards something important to me, seeing my city thrive in a sustainable way. City Sustainability Director, Dr. Miller, has developed a comprehensive roadmap for teaching climate goals in the Strategic Energy Plan. This plan outlines actionable steps to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, enhance energy efficiency, and build a more sustainable, climate-resilient community. This is not just an environmental issue. It's an economic and social imperative. By prioritizing sustainability, we demonstrate our commitment to future generations and ensure that Winston-Salem State remains vibrant, thriving community for all. We know the steps to take to meet our climate goals, but we need financial investment to implement the plan. I urge you to consider the long-term benefits of a robust, sustainable capital budget in the fiscal year 26 budget. Let's take the necessary steps to turn our climate goals into reality. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Nelson Weaver.
Good evening. Can you all hear me? My name is Jay Nelson Weaver. Mayor Joines, Mayor Pro Tem Adams, and all city council members. I want to say thank you on behalf of Family Services for the funding and support you all have provided to victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking over the years and continuing to today. We run the largest DV shelter in town, and we receive funding from you all every year that helps pay the light bill, that helps in so many ways as we are providing safe emergency shelter for people fleeing violence. So we just wanted to say thank you all very much. We appreciate you supporting survivors in our community year after year. It's tremendously important. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Harold Smith.
Good evening. My name is Harold Smith. I live at 3579 San Carlos Road. I'm president of Eureka Ministry, and on behalf of my board of directors, I'm here to say thank you for the many years that you've supported Eureka Ministry to assist our ex-offender population in our city. We do our very best to keep them housed, and I think we've done a good job. And we do other things other than housing. Check our website. But I'm here to tell you that you do a fantastic job and just keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Mayor, that's all I have signed up.
Anyone else in the council chamber want to be heard on the city's budget? Thank you. I will therefore close the public hearing. Thank you, Mr. Clark, for handling that. Council members, we do have a need for a brief closed session, and I believe Mr. Clark has a motion.
I've done everything else tonight. I might as well do this one.
Scott, man.
I move that the Winston-Salem City Council go into closed session pursuant to General Statute 143-318-11A4 to discuss matters related to the expansion of industries or other businesses in the area as they pertain to economic development.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Adams. All those in favor of going into closed session, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And we will go into closed session. session.
Make a motion in closed session.
Mayor Pro Tem moves that we end closed session, seconded by Councilmember Scipio. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Anybody opposed? I know you're not. Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion by Councilmember Scipio, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Adams. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We're adjourned.
Thank you.